Testing, baby. Test baby one, test baby two, test baby three, and test baby four, yeah. Oh yeah. You know, mix. No, I'm just kidding. This mic makes me feel like one of those DJ guys or something. I don't know. I've never done that, but I like this particular instrument. For one, solid wood, Canada, right? But it's lightweight. So if you're going to hold something for a long time, make sure that it is sounded nice. Easy on the breeze. I waited long ago. Oh, back to the floor. She was there, stirring cauldron round the WoodStone well. But I'm a little dry in the throat, but I'm still here. She said, I'll allow no man here to purify. She said, if you can hold the flame, then you can come to the circle round. Oh, but you have to have a heart soul. Tested me in the circle round. Oh, it's just a rite of passage. Everyone has fears to overcome, and we rise up. Wisdom is the way it. Wise ones know. Who's that behind me? I don't know. There must be a wooden witch in the wood. I don't know. And I can see, and I can feel. You wanna call it St. Patrick? I call that a shit stain. No thanks for the stain on my people I left to say. Witch in the wood, no. Grandmother knows, say. Great as she is, you know, ancient folk soul, call the flame, all the flame. Deep down I feel she said, I know not like these people around here. So that's why I came to the woodland. Told me there was a wise woman in the wood. Many a fool I've seen. I said to her, I know. She said, I heard your song in the woodland. I called you here while I was stirring the cauldron wrong. No. Calling it all, that's what they said. It's coming down the mountain. Rough as he was. I drink my coffee with the grounds at the bottom, oh yeah. I drink it rough and raw. It's real coarse in the bottom, but hey. I love this new mic. Well, I don't love the mic. I like using it. But I do love my folk. Yeah. You know, I made a goal after getting out and that, you know, like having I literally had a waking vision. Okay. That's what I didn't explain about the whole mental facility for a week. Only a week. But I had good behavior, so I got out. And I said, you know, at first I was really depressed. So I was going through saying, I want to get the hell out of here. I'm getting freedom. And I just remember sitting in there with that single mom friend of mine. She was married, but she's a cool chick. She was my homie in there. And she was a musician too. She was cool. She's a drummer. Badass chick. But she got depressed and stopped being available for her children. So she got over that. And I found a way to motivate her. And I was like, you know, it's like this, because she kept getting depressed. Either you are 100% all the way there for your children, or you are not. And love is more important than any trauma shit you got going on. For real. I would know something about that since I was raised with a mother who had to sustain a lot of bullshit, you know? And I'm just going to go ahead and say this, that certain so-called Christian groups target kids. And that's all I'm going to say about their shitty asses. But the idea is they feed on fear. So, if love is more powerful than fear, which is the whole premise of what I'm singing about, then holding the heart's flame means you are holding the love of the people. And that is true sovereignty versus narcissistic, selfish behavior. That doesn't mean you can't survive. That's not what I'm saying. It's like you might instead buy a cake, offer everyone a slice, right? Or buy the whole cake, go hide in a room and eat the whole goddamn thing yourself. Which one is better? That's kind of the love and fear. One is not enough, right? And one is abundance for everyone, which circulates, right? And multiplies. But as soon as you connect yourself to money that is an occult document, and remember that is a Masonic occult document, and you are utilizing it as a four-corner document. Did you hear what I said? Northeast, south, and west, encompassing what is inside the square. Overlay over the top is, say, Washington, D.C. with an upside-down pentacle. The pentacle itself is not evil. It is the use and intention. Now, I'm just saying from a neutral standpoint of that. And then they overlay the grid over the top of the earth over ley lines. Do you see how this works? Electromagnetic current and web of word being overlaid, right, by humans instead of the natural flow with it. Like if you look at the Elvish kingdom, they are living in harmony with their environment. That's where I want to live. Like you see Elrond, right? Yeah, that's my goal. My goal is not big mansion and credit card horse shit, because I feel like eventually this is the test here. How will you treat others? And this is the message I receive. If you are not seeking true love, you will receive your gold. Remember? Story of the golden toad. Don't make the deal, right? He says, would you like wisdom or 2 coins? Do you see what I am saying? What are the 2 coins? What happens when you die? 2 silver dollars, 1 over each eye. Got it? Wild West. That it's older than that. Sticks across the river. Do you really want that? I don't. True love means life forever, not little bits here and there. That's you're robbing yourself. You see? So that's why it's hard for me, because I realize most people do not exist on that level, and I do. So I had to pull back from other people and just be like, okay, I only want to be around people that are like me. Because otherwise, you have unloving, fearful people who lash out on you and shove you aside. So what is the point of being around someone that ignorant? They don't even have a sense of intuition to feel who you are. But the ones that do, as a sensitive, I'm going to gravitate to. Does that make sense? I think it does. But I don't want to be hateful, but I have to have boundaries, you know, and being a sensitive person and highly aware psychologically, you see through all of the curtains that most people throw up. Because when you learn to self-analyze, then you can see it. And that is a trait my mom taught me young. And she was a communications major at the University of Utah and a survivor of sexual abuse. So I'm just going to say it. And yeah, that's why I have fire in my head. And I got bonfires in there. Because that's what those people did to my family. Right? And a married Mormon killed my friend's daughter. So there is no veneer of I'm sacred, I belong to this church. Bullshit. You are an individual with intention. That's why it's fire. So you have to hold that back. That is why I am a traumatized individual who uses music and healing and herbs and natural things to heal myself. I had a friend of mine he was in a wheelchair and he had fibro, but over time, and he was an awesome musician. He used to be a big, strong dude. And he shrunk down. I one time had to try to move him. His bones were still heavy. So what happened was his muscle mass shrank, but his bone density didn't. So that means it becomes harder for him to move. So I would help him out with if he asked me to, you know, take trash out or do this or whatever, just help him. Go chill with him. And he was an artist, local in town, well known. And he used to organize, you know, a big pagan festival at Liberty Park, which is where most of the pagans go in Utah. And I've gone there for years. I'm well known. We'll just say that. And in a positive way, I have a good reputation because I'm not a douchebag. I don't rip people off. And when I say I love you, I mean it when I give you a hug. See, that's the thing about harboring false intention, is you will always feel tension around that person because they are not loved. It's that simple. Why does it need to get more complicated? If I have to take it back to a childlike perspective to get my point across, that's what I'm doing. Because the overcomplicated shit leaves out the basics, like loving each other and treating each other decent, right? But that requires emotional IQ, right? And folk soul IQ. What did I just say? Spiritual, intelligence, quotient. 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 Spiritual, intellig or rather emotional content. That was something Bruce Lee talked about when he would fight. He said to not let anger be out of control because it leaves you open to drop, right? But not to be so passive that you just stand there and get hit like a dummy, right? So you have to adapt in real live time. That is what he said. And he's right. And you have to adapt for each opponent. You cannot have the same strategy for every single person you communicate to. All right. So when I communicate with someone, I tailor that to that person and not out of manipulation, because I want to connect and comprehend and relate. That's the whole point. That's why I get frustrated, because I have a high comprehension of communication, but I stick to myself because of corruption I see in groups. I've never joined these groups because I developed my path before the internet was a big deal, like right on the cusp. So I got some of the last of true folk culture. And in Utah, we're, kind of back a little bit. So it's because it's, conservative. But I'm like, coffee house folk culture survived in Utah all the way up to the 90s. You hear me? Like, it was commonplace. You still see some people with instruments, but not like it was back then, because video games were not that cool yet. They're kind of shitty. It was boring. I'm like, And I didn't want to just sit on my ass. I was outside exploring, like out in the woods, like Robin Hood, with my friends. And we would go adventuring in the woods. That, that is how I grew up. I grew up country, out in the farm, the horse paddock behind my house. How do I relate? I sit in my little goddamn fucking apartment. I'm like, no. You know what I mean? But it's cool as I watch these shows with my mom sometimes. And they're, like little houses people can make. So you could literally have a little house that you just hook up to a vehicle and you can just cruise around. And I swear to God, I'm just going to get a little elf land house. So when I go traveling, I can live in it. I'll just pull up. Hey, how's it going? Hop out on my little tiny deck, play music, and disappear. I have this ongoing joke about my BobCat personality, which is my cat form. So he will pop in through a little dimensional hole and he'll be like, hey, how's it going? And then he'll disappear and go back through the hole. And you'll hear him laugh again. He'll keep popping in and out different locations in the room. He doesn't mean any harm. He's just wanted to make you laugh. You're like depressed or something. He's like, what you doing? You're like, what the heck? Can't be depressed anymore. Something weird happened. But remember what I said about doppelgangers. If they know you like someone, they will try to mimic that person's energy, right? Okay, let's say you got two different guys, and one guy likes you, but he has, it's like the dark druid. He doesn't have good intentions. And the other guy does, and he's true-hearted, whatever, for the argument's sake. Are you aware of the vibe? The first thing you're going to notice is emotion, and that reveals intention, right? So if you are, let's say, light of the folk soul, that is love for your people, you will notice by vibe, the more tuned in you are, whether that is a authentic intuition or you are being led. And if you are not yet developed on your path, you need to be very, very careful about listening to that. 95% helpful, and then infiltration backdoor into you. Now they have linked to your energy field, right? So that is why you don't want to go sleep around with a bunch of people, because you are still connected to their energy field. Now, heart is different, right? But you have to sense intention. So just like Bruce Lee in a fight, he's going to have to adapt to figure out, what do I need to change? Because I just got punched, and knocked to the ground or whatever it is. But one of my ranger friends, he was a real ranger. I'm not, never been in the military. Just saying, he was. What he told me was this: don't use your fist. He said, open hand, because you cannot hold a weapon if you've broken your hand. Well, that was advice. I was like, okay. And being that, I grew up watching like military and ninja movies, because I was outside, so I could relate to, the outside world more. Does that make sense? Or X-Men original hand drawn, in which my art teacher in high school worked on that show. He also worked on Ninja Turtles. I thought that was awesome. I'm like, yeah, even though you go back and it's kind of cheesy, but it was cool, because like the Ninja Turtles were there, and April was hot, and it was like, at least at that age. And she was always going out on little investigative missions. So funny too, like, I never knew this, but later on, my sister's like, I used to spy on you and watch you smoke cigarettes, Robert. I'm like, yeah, you think I didn't know you were there? They're like hiding on the other side. There's like small, you saw that little witch. You see what I mean? Right there. And I see them through the fence, looking through the crack. They're all, and then they run away like they had their junior spy club. You know how little kids are. Oh my God. We used to have this hill at the University of Utah student housing. And every winter we called it Eagles Hill. And along the road, there would be, different cars going by. This is when I was a teenager, a long time ago. And we would sit there and wait for like a bus to come by, like a UTA transit bus. And we'd get like an army of our friends up there, and we'd just be like, all right, you ready? Here it comes, Holmes. I'm like, yeah, we're ready. And we're like, pop, 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 like rapid fire. Hitting the bus, and it's just like bam, you can hear it. And like one time the bus driver stopped, and he's like, screw you kids, and this and that. He was so steamed. Like, we never broke anything, So then we decided, Robert decided he would start putting eggs in the middle of the snowballs. So it would explode on the side. And like, if you can get a windshield shot, like right next to the driver, that was the highest point. So yeah, we had a point scale. Oh my God. What else comes to mind? Oh, let's see. Pumpkin bowling. But that's back when skateboarding was punk rock. That's kind of how I grew up, with more, the transition of punk rock to hip hop coming into skateboarding. And my stepbrother was awesome, kick-ass skateboarder. See, I liked him. I just didn't like his dad. So I thank him for being an inspiration to claim freedom. So in many ways, his attitude of, F being abused, I resonated with that because I had that attitude from a young age. And my dad beat me up and I didn't think I deserved it. I'd be like, you're wrong. And I would not back down. And I'd get my ass kicked again, but I would never back down. Even after I got my ass kicked, I would still be like, no. What do I say? I don't know. Getting beat up like that, just you either submit or you learn to guard and fight back. You know what I'm saying? And so I guess I learned to guard and fight back. But the thing is you can become like a caged animal like that because you're getting beat on so much psychologically or physically. You know what I mean? But I will say this, that physical abuse, and I don't care what anyone says to me, is worse than verbal. To a point, because it has a psychological effect, right? On the regions in your brain that feel physical touch and sensation. And that can confuse your senses. That also happens when people are molested. It messes up their brain function. That never, like that didn't happen to me when I was younger. I got my ass kicked. I did not get molested. My dad was just a hardcore dude. He was not like that. But I got the old school. That means the buck naked ass whoop with a fucking belt, leaving thick goddamn welts. So to me, that wasn't good. So what did I learn? Don't do that. But I also learned to fight back. And I realized that that's how you will be treated in life if you don't pay attention to what you're doing. You're going to get spanked, right? I'm just adjusting. It helps me because thinking about that, I have emotional triggers that I'm controlling all the time. Like I said, fire in my head. But how about no passion? Right? I've seen that too. So it's like an extreme of totally out of control rampage, right? Or asleep. So I say, find medium ground. Like with playing guitar, I can play longer, but if I'm just more simple. But if I'm faster, right, and I'm using high pressure, I won't last as long because my body will wear out. I think that's something people don't think about, say with study or playing an instrument, is how are you using your body? And as I said, I have 2 degrees in massage therapy. That's my education, and maybe some community college. Okay. I just did I didn't give a damn about having a high school diploma. Okay. I wasn't going to prom. I went goth. I didn't give a shit. Went to the club. But it became F the preppies. That's how it became. Because they were, I was alternative, I met this one friend's grandfather, and he was an amazing golfer. Like I was invited to go with them on a fishing trip. We went and hunted. We went and got some bluegill. Mm-hmm. And so we go in his house. It's in southern Utah. I look up and I see multiple hole-in-one trophies. And I'm like, holy shit. Do you realize how hard it is to hit a hole-in-one? Do you? One shot and it goes in the hole. Whoa. Yeah. That's called an ace. And an ace doesn't need to do it a bunch of times because they've done it so many times. That's like somebody that is so high above your level that when you walk up to them, you don't even realize how high above your level they are. So you approach in ignorance, and your frequency is so low, you're actually disrupting theirs and throwing it into disharmony. So walking up to a really wise person, you got to be very humble. But is that a true person that is wise? See, that's the trick. The Snidely Whiplash pretends to be the wise one, but they're going, right? And they're like, oh yeah, she's going for it. Oh yeah, good. See, I'm blunt. I don't give a shit about that. And that's why I know nobody else is doing what I'm doing. They might come and copy me or steal lyrics or this or that, but they can't copy heart. They can copy tone, they can fake it, whatever. But authentic is authentic. And those who are will sense who is and who is not. Right? Out and knew from a distance speed what you wanted from me. Oh, but you can't live in fear. Love is the way. Grandmother, grandfather, in my heart and soul. Grand Volvo. The sun will shine down deep down into a folk soul. I say, you think it's easy to sing like me with no front teeth, shattered with a concussion, but I keep rolling on. It's what I said long ago. Stay original. All the way back, you say, to the 1990s, I say. They call me the Gothic King. But it's only for the fire in my head, not for the mountain of gold, but a mountain of folk soul. Fire burn, fire burn, 'cause you can't take the gold with me. It's what my father said. You only take what you are when you go. Oh, well then, when I go, I'll be meeting them in the woodland, 'cause I'm going to Elf-World. And as she's waiting there, waiting there, guess I'll just live in a little home and travel around. I don't know. 'Cause the dark wizard's coming down to block me from ever finding her. Oh, he knows. Take your true love away, that's what they said. And that's for real. You gotta love your folk, tribe, and family. Oh, and sing from the heart and soul. can sing it all is in the spirit world, and I sing them for $1, see. Love and intention is all they ever had to say. Oh, which way? Which way to the firelight? Oh, 'cause I know there's no one like me. Robin, I am from long ago. I owe to the woodland. Oh. Ancient is the call, ancient is the way, you know which way you gonna go, which way you gonna go. And I mean that. See, my goal when I sing is to vibrate my heart root seed. That is what they target. Did you hear what I said? Your nerve systems, your heart nerve system, electromagnetic currency, vibration, electromagnetic field, web of word. Did I make my point clear? Overlay, ancient ley lines being connected, forming a matrix over the earth. Stonehenge, for example, among others. Hill of Tara, where people gather. That is where the folk soul light is. That is what you feel in the land when you walk on it. You have true intention. What did I just say? See? But people get fearful of true heart. Right? They do. Because if they don't have it, they are a mixed bag. And they don't know. I really like this single though. It's bomb guitar. But I would suggest learning for your own personal therapy or something for yourself. I think everybody should have like emotional venting mechanisms. You know, it's not just that. It sparks more connection of the regions in your brain, right? Even speaking aloud helps do that and activate that region of your brain rather than just reading. You know what I mean? You can do both. Like, so that is why I like reading aloud, because I'm more likely to remember the material. So what I was thinking is start doing, okay, if you want to sell books or whatever you're doing, I have to figure out some way to survive too. I don't know. I don't have shit. I just do my art. I have no money. Really. You know, and aside from my family, but I'm overcoming. Like this here is all about organization, right? And, you know, up like more skills. What can you do? How can you add to what you have? Even if that is one class at a time. You know what I'm saying? You are doing a slow build or adding a certification or whatever. So I thought, what can I do? All right. Many years ago, I let depression drive me out of doing massage therapy. Well, and I'll tell you what happened. In clinic, you get a variety of people you work on. And I got hit on by a couple, two different gay guys during the sessions, and I don't get a choice in who I work on. I have lots of women and other people I had worked on, right, that never, gave me issues. So I had one guy have a reaction on the table, and he got a hard on, right? I was uncomfortable. I ended the session. It was when he flipped over, but he had no self-control. I understand it's a physiological response, but that's why I started getting uncomfortable working on guys. And I'm like, if it's not injury based, then I don't want to do it. Right? Or on a spiritual level, you're helping them balance their energies. But I feel like you really need a balance of the opposite sex and their energy and their brain. Now, why? Because a woman's brain is in a different format than a man's. So that means two puzzle pieces fitting together. That's what I meant about a match. You catch what I'm saying? So people who have developed similar regions in their brain are going to be more attracted to want to communicate with each other. That makes sense, right? Of course. Yeah. So where I said, well, I'm just going to develop the folkishness in myself my whole life, you consider where these Mormon missionary guys are by the time they're goddamn fucking 70. Okay. They never thought for themselves. They never walked their own path. They are followers. Catch me? So in the woodland, let's say there's no more churches, temples, fucking none of that shit. It's all goddamn gone. Then what do you got? Your family. And that is the boil down. Those people that care about you. And if there is one person I care about, I will come back behind enemy lines to get you because I love you. And that is the difference. That's true intention, true heartedness. Right? Or that hero will die in the process trying to do that. Now that could be exploited. So by a doppelganger, I mean they could mislead you into actually creating a situation to get your match killed by being stupid and distracted. And so you are paying attention to distractions and not paying attention to them. Did you hear what I said? So harmonically, whoever it is, if that person, like on a folk soul level, for instance, is destined to be with you and you are ignoring them, you are a fool. And therefore, you will not receive true love. And, eventually that person will find somebody else who will. So it's like there's a natural availability of that, I feel. And the more in tune you become with your path, the more likely that is to happen. But you're also dealing with kind of a niche of society now, since we are no longer mainstream. Not really, maybe your more country dwellers are. I don't know, but I decided that my spiritual and intellectual path was more important than being a millionaire. And I accepted that I will never most likely be a millionaire. So whatever, that's not the main focus. How can I have the best self-development, right? And then also, if I'm adventuring, to be mindful, right? But I just am like, with this year and seeing the levels of nastiness that I have seen, I have to balance that. And that's why I got to the point where I was like, man, maybe I will just get off YouTube because people are not with my vibe. I'm getting thrown out of chats. No one's listening to me, whatever. But I said, okay, well, I see the situation. People are fearful of being backstabbed. No shit. You are living in fear. You are not in tune with the good people. And that is why you were being misled. You were in tune with the money or not having enough, whatever the bullshit is. But that's being distracted, and that can be exploited. And it has been. Right? It got exploited in me with that friend of mine that feigned, oh, I love you, bro. But he didn't. Right? That's different. Brotherly love between friends is different than I want to fuck you in the ass with no reach around. Catch what I'm saying? Psychologically speaking. Sorry to be foul. But that is the opposite side of true love and being willing to put your heart in front of their heart to protect them. And that's my mentality. So it's, but as I stated, that can be misused, misdirected, abused. It's, so I have been through the gambit of psychological and physical abuse. I have seen what sexual abuse does. I have seen what psychological dysfunction to the point of that guy killing my friend's daughter. So I just have no filter. I'm controlling myself to not curse completely out of control, because that is how I feel about what that guy did. Now, I'm not even going to speak his name, but he is in the point of the mountain, right? And he ain't ever getting out. Where for some people it takes less to learn that. But let's say you just get frustrated. You could be locked in a loony bin. Wakey, center. Do not put yourself in risky situations. I have had everything taken away from me. That's why I don't play. I almost didn't come back. I was that depressed. I just, I was just going to fade off and fucking go live on the goddamn street and give up music completely and just be fucking gone. Because no one gave a goddamn. They wanted to fuck around with money. And that's the perspective I would think of with, say, grandfather. That he would get that fucking pissed. Because everybody sold his ass out. And he was like, fuck you. And that's a bad attitude. Right? But maybe grandpa got too harsh, and then they're like, screw it, there's no sensitivity, so we won't care about him. So it is a reflective relationship. So now I'm going to change the frequency. FFF, all the anger, right? But protective love and anger in that degree, when there is nothing left, I don't think that's wrong. Now, to purposefully attack someone who has done you no harm, that's wrong, in my opinion. Just natural law. So why do I need a little book from some goddamn missionary telling me basic shit that should be common to life anyway? Basic good standards. It all comes from folk culture anyway. Everything. Music, all of it. So if you're going to get in tune with folk soul, you cannot think of it as, how much will this sell for? You can be grateful when people donate to you. That's different. But you have now put a money amount on what the worth of your art is. Right? So what is the value? The money or folk soul? Because you can't have both. You choose one or the other. And that's how it is. And that's what I've realized. So to me, I would rather be poor and keep my folk soul and not sell out and keep my potency. But then when you have potency, everybody wants what you have. And that's why I didn't want to come online, because I knew that's what would happen. I saw the immature, stupid behavior. Right? So that's why I started getting an attitude, seeing low standards. I was even disappointed in myself when I got on here in FFF, but I just got so frustrated of being ignored. And that was my, one of my last Hail Marys, because I've gone back and forth of maybe not, or maybe Hail Goddess in the woodland, B-I-O. So I said that. No one listened. How long ago was that? Just saying, I'm not to be a bitch about it, but as far as complaining, but it's like the lack of insight to the point where you are missing basic wisdom. That's called being distracted. You're running scared. And like in any situation where you are misjudging it, you need to look back inside and see what's up with me where I'm that distracted, and readjust your focus. Now, this year is a year for me personally to dig deep into folk culture and stay there. Know where your center is 24/7. Like, for instance, you could have 10% politics, 90% folk. You comment, but realize what your influence is. Know your reach and concentrate on where that is. That grows potency. Anything else, you are diluting your potency, and therefore you are less effective. Like, if I'm going to put out videos on a regular basis, then I need to be very centered about what I am doing. What else do I have to do? This is it. This is what I'm doing with my life for now. And that's how I learned how to play guitar, was simply doggedly doing it. Or like a cat wants to do something, they will figure out a way to do it. And dig into shit. I thought it was interesting that Lou was also connected to the lynx and the cat. And then I thought about, okay, well, the connection to Freya, and then having the ship's cat on the ship to like take care of pests. So maybe BobCat is like that. I don't like pests. I don't like people screwing with my friends or people I love and care about that have good hearts. Even if they're misled, I will still come back for them, even though they're acting like dipshits. You catch what I mean? Because if I'm being a dipshit, I would hope somebody would come back for me and go, hey, tap, 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 BobCat, did you see that suckler on the back of your back here? I was like, God damn, yeah, that's a fucking vampire there. Pull that goddamn parasite off. And that's what it's like. So these doppelganger people will copy your style, and then they'll go out and reproduce it, and then they'll put a dollar ad on it, and then push you out, get rid of you. It's the same thing as taking over land or trade routes or anything else. But you have to apply it to the digital world, because that is the world we live in now. But there is also the astral plane. What if they could do the same thing on the astral plane? Copy your skills and transport to somebody else by taking your folk soul light. What did I just say? Copying your brain waves and memories by being open to them. They have linked to you. What are you linked to? What did I just say? And so I have a saying too, that if you learn from someone, you need to mention that person by name, or at least in some. If you can't do that, then in a way they will know you are talking directly to them. And say, hey, yeah, that was a good idea. That builds self-esteem. Just coming in, taking shit and leaving doesn't. Because they're like, well, fuck, I guess I don't matter. They're like, oh yeah, I just grabbed this and then ran away like a little fearful fucking animal or something. I don't know. That's how it is. I'll go hide my nut in the tree. It's not always bad. Researching, you can store things, but if you don't let those people know, they're going to lose, maybe they'll lose motivation like I did. And I was just like, yeah, kind of off on my own, because I have the same feeling. I've been kicked around so much. I just, do you see a chat on my channel? Nope. Because as soon as I started associating with certain people, I ended up with trolls and dislikes on every single video. But guess what? I kept going, and I kept being friends with that person because I liked them, and I don't give a damn what the trolls say. Because I don't have to believe what people write about other people online, because it's not always true. Now, you could have a perspective, but let's say, for instance, on World War II, you have a specific different alternative viewpoint. You have a right to have a different viewpoint, right? The only issue is when it becomes a hate speech issue, whatever that is. So I have to keep it in general. But why discuss things in a way just to controversy? That's only going to get you thrown in the clink as far as any site. You can't even fucking exist on, you can't exist online that way. They're going to say discriminator. Now, that is where knowing your rights and also knowing the function within the system you're in, so that you know at all times you're holding a high community standard. And what do you think I do that on my channel? I mean, I might discuss things and I could be a little rough, but generally speaking, I'm careful about what certain things I talk about. And other subjects are hard and difficult to talk about, like the abuse shit. You think that's easy? You think this shit is easy? No, it's uncomfortable to talk about it, but it is necessary for me to do that, to help others. I could have sat back and said nothing, watch people walk into bad situations, but I said, no, that's being selfish. Because if I care about that person, it's like warning your little brother or sister to not walk over glass. It's the same concept. It's because you love them. And that's the only reason. And relaying that to an older kid that was in the University of Utah student complex. That was when I was younger. I was 12. He was targeting little girls, and he targeted my sisters, my youngest one in particular, and my sister's friend. So I caught him, and he didn't get to do shit to my sister. And I will tell you why. Because I had an intuition to walk down the hall. And I don't care what anyone tells me. I heard an audible woman's voice say, walk down the hall now. I opened my eyes and walked down the hall, and he was in the back room with my sister. Huh? 2 bunk beds on either side. I ripped the blanket off and said, what's up? Get out of my house. What are you doing in here with my sister? As I walked up, I heard one play doctor. I had stopped it right in time. You tell me where the intuition is at. What you got? That's love. What are you listening to? You hear the power in my voice. That's because that is authority. Not arrogance, not narcissism. Protection of innocent love, period. That is the core. And that is what they want you to not be paying attention to. Because that is the target. To destroy that in you so they can live there. In your heart. Doppelganger takeover. Got it? Whether that is psychologically or on an astral plane, spiritual plane, folk soul. They want to kill your folk soul. Did you hear me? Money ain't shit. That's why I said, folk soul mountain. That's where I live. It's not a threat to somebody else because I am passionate about who I am and how I feel. Right? If I'm not harming others, then I don't deserve to be harmed, do I? I don't feel that way. But targets are targets. They're like, oh, I decided you're hateful, so I will attack you. When it's like, well, if you don't agree with that person, then just stay away from them. I stay away from most of these high-level occultist people online for a good reason. They use fear. They use imagery. They use subconscious manipulation. You know who I'm talking about, don't you? Anyway, you know who you are. I'm not into that. That's why I stated before, and I'm going to state it again. I am not into anything to do with the Latinized version word Lucifer. Got it? Lu is Welsh in origin and has nothing to do with that goddamn fucking Latin overwrite. Bitches. And that is my stance. And that ain't changing. You hear? Latin override on all our shit. Druids murdered. Wake up. Links, light, right? The cat. BobCat IO. You have to decide, no matter what, you cannot be broken. Your will. Imagine you are that witch. You're a real one. And you're tied there and you're about to be burnt. At no time did that true wise woman ever submit. You watch Robin Hood, 2006. There's the wise woman's name is Matilda, and they're dunking her in the pond. And every time because Robin's been helping her, that'd be like me on the other side feeding her air. Like, fuck them, I like the wise woman, you bitch asses. But at least they added that, even with this stupid overwrite with all the goddamn fucking King Richard shit, Lionheart shit. That's an overlay of the original. That is not the original King Arthur. And that is why I know, because I have strong Welsh lines, that it is of Wales. Right? And certain tribal groups were responsible for the lion's share of folk culture. And so maybe it is possible we had super advanced civilizations that because we became so advanced, we destroyed what we had. And so we have to learn respect for wisdom and not create destructive shit that will blow up the goddamn fucking planet 20 million times over. But that's what has happened. It has gone to the extreme in war where the weapons have become so powerful and destructive that there would be like nearly Borg mentality. There will be no resistance possible. Because now the 5G comes, keep up in the scale. How much electromagnetic energy increase are we going to have on the fucking planet before the goddamn weather goes berserk? Global warming, fuck that. Electromagnetic field, sunlight, affecting weather patterns on the earth. Wakey. Who gives a shit about gold if the damn planet falls apart? Has nothing to do with Armageddon. Has to do with fucking with energy you shouldn't be playing with. Particle accelerators, levitation, teleportation, telekinesis, vibration, and using sound to open portals. Now, imagine that certain alignments allowed for photoelectromagnetic light. What did I just say? What do you think that power is? That was glowing off of Lu's sword. Living consciousness. Huh? Pure energy and intention. But it was a living folk soul, not the whole egregor thing. That's different. What that is a doppelganger creation. And so you sit in some circle jerk group, everybody sucks your energy, turns it into a demonic presence, and then starts breeding them out of your energy, idiot. Now, having different forms of yourself, you know, like projections, like I would project myself as a bobcat or something, that could be copied. And that's where knowing true intention comes in. So they will target both people of their heart, right? Because you sense with your heart and your intuition. And they will block that, disrupt it, and hack into it. You're like, my system can be hacked? Yeah. Your nervous system can be hacked. Did you hear me? Nerve trapping and targeting. What did I just say? Where are most of your chakras located in your body, your energy centers? Right now, what I'm teaching is spiritual self-defense, because I feel I've been under that level of high attack since I was young, because I'm sensitive. Now, people can believe or not, but when you're sensitive, but no one helps you direct it. See, our sensitive people used to become, you know, the high level druids. It wasn't just that they were, you know, it was developed in bloodlines, yes, but the original person would have had a higher sensitivity and awareness anyway, and then pass that on. And that's where the trait came from. But later on, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Pretty Princess and Prince sitting on a pillow don't realize how the hell they even got there. And it wasn't through scratching their ass. It was through serious shit. Total commitment to the land. Where you put yourself on the line, you're leading from the front. You ain't hiding in the back. Everybody else gets to take the blows. Right? So personal behavior and intention is key, number one. First and foremost. That's why also I feel both women and men have been equal influences as teachers. And in fact, I might even add that women have been greater teachers to me than men ever were. But that's how, you know, I have to balance it. So from my father, I learned very important lessons. So both sides I have to have. But when that gets thrown out of balance, then you are confused. Because going to that person for wisdom means they might kick the shit out of you for even getting in their presence. So then that breaks down rite of passage between father and son, because dad's now the enemy instead of the one who knows. Or remember a story I was told where the grandmother had a very harsh perspective on life. And she had these two little girls, and they had to, she didn't like the cats, and she had found a litter of kittens. She forced the little girls to take those kittens and bury them in a hole. And I just said, damn. But that was farmer country, you know, that was old school. And if you, that's just, I don't know, different mentality. I would, you know, not do that, but that's how she was, just stern. And that was one of my great grandmothers. But I'm like, whoa. But I love cats. I would never do that. Cats were always like an emotional tool to help you. Like nobody else is there. Oh, there's your buddy hanging out, right? And they'll talk to you. My cat answers me if I talk to him and I go, meow. He'll answer me back, you know, very intelligent. And they have feelings and emotions just like you. In fact, they develop their emotions more by being around humans. They're able to grasp more complex emotions, but that depends. Is that a true-hearted person with the animal or not? Because they love the animal, they'll teach them, versus I dominate you and put you on a leash and force you to do shit you don't want to do. So put yourself in the position of the animal. Would you like that treatment? Right? Think about it. You're like, whoa, I know. So levels and degrees, right? Or then you have I've worked at all levels in the food industry, so I'm going to address that. Vegan, vegetarian, and omnivore. I'm an omnivore. I eat both. I eat meat and veggies. And so here's the interesting tangent argument. So they say, well, I will eat no animal or insect. Yes, you're still eating plants. That's life. Okay. So stop eating plants. You're eating life. You're taking life. So, but they're like, but it's a higher complex life form, is it? You're still, are you being honorable of what you are partaking? Right? So, yeah, we'll just use, since I'm in Utah, there's a heavy native population here. Like you kill a buffalo, right? They used to take the heart of the buffalo out and bless it, and they would bite it, right? But think about the dark side to that, right? And then you're going to figure out what they've been doing. Huh? Stem cell research. Huh? Age regeneration. Huh? This is tripping me out. Now, if you can repair damage over time with aging, or say remove the damage, you know, Mel Gibson, he talked about his father. Okay, his father was like 90. And so he took him to get stem cell treatments. So after years of not being able to get an erection, at 90 years old, he was able to get the full captain to set sail. And I'm just like, okay. So then he had damage to both of his shoulders. So they inject him with, the stem cells. But here's the sellout. They're going to the Philippines or places like that, and they're getting little 18-year-olds that they say will donate their cells for money. Holy shit. So are you to that level where you are selling your DNA as a young person? Holy shit. So how much shit can be taken? God damn it. Now, if the technology is to the degree where they could literally tune in and copy your fucking memories, what's up? Oh, that's not possible. I've never seen it. Yeah. Well, Tesla thought of that shit a long time ago. That is where they stole his inventions to help the world and used it to enslave the world. Did you hear me? That's my opinion. A nice magnetron got invented by, let's see, who was it? Trump's uncle? Huh? John G. Trump. He was the one that investigated Tesla's papers. Huh? New York City. That's your backyard if you live there. I don't live there. I'm on the West Coast, not the East. Well, not the coast, but I'm in the West. And I studied that and looked at it because I'm like, what were the deciding factors that shifted the direction of the United States? One of them was the Titanic and all those elites who were funding and working with Tesla going down. Because maybe there was more shit that was going to be happening. Tesla was pretty resilient, intellectually speaking. he got shut down to the point where he was working in fucking in the mines, right? After his argument with Edison, because Edison was torturing animals using alternating current, and direct current was weak. So they had to have huge transformers much closer together versus alternating current where you could have smaller ones and have them further apart because the energy can travel faster and more power. And I remember hearing about a charge that he set off from Wardenclyffe Tower. It landed somewhere in, I don't know, Russia or some shit, and blasted out a circle of trees, right? So if he could do that then with rudimentary tech, what do you think they got now? Huh? Particle accelerator pulse cannon. Yeah. Now, why do you hear within the last couple of years Trump's talking about Space Force? Because in my opinion, they already had that. I feel they have cloaking. I think that they have wormhole tech possibilities. I don't know. Bare minimum, they can cloak. All you got to do is shift the vibrational frequency around yourself and do that. Animals do it too, to a point. Think about a chameleon. Similar. Refracted light. So, long time ago, and I don't know whether or not this was true or not, but this was my major full trip experience. I think I was like, oh man, 18. And I went to a rainbow gathering, which is like 30,000 people. Okay. I would consider that very like hardcore folkish, because you want to talk wild. I'll give you one example at night of just one of the giant drum circle fire pits I went to. Oh my God. So I go there. It is raging. And people are just like, whoa, I mean, dancing around in a circle, wild. And I walk up, and there's this chick, and she is buck naked. Nobody gave a shit. You're like, wow. You want to talk wild woman in the woods? Wow. So she is tripping her ovaries off at this point. I'll use that terminology. And it wasn't even attraction. I was just like, damn, wow. And I was just the level of how just wild that was. And that I have experienced and seen that, where these repressed people in the city have never fucking seen that. And oh my God, that was a wild experience. Maybe I should talk about that for a while. So I haven't even talked about my trip yet. Oh my God. I was not tripping. I was sober when I saw that. I was like, wow. But inside, I was like, yeah, go woman. Woo! You know, like, that's awesome. Break free. Yeah. And it was one of those moments where witches used to get in trouble for that shit, because they would, and you'd have to be very, very careful. Go to some private location and they'd be dancing around with the earth. They were folkish. They're like, yeah, you know, and they're like, evil, you are natural. And, you know, and that's kind of how it was. Happened to be a lady of European background that was going wild like that. A very wild, witchy woman type thing to do. Lots of them down there. See, a lot of them. So one day they have this big line, and they have all that. It's like the Traders Road or something, and you walk down, and everybody has their shit set up, along the road. And you would find different people, but it was based on a trading system. So you would barter something. No money was allowed, and you had to, like, say, if you had candy bars or cigarettes or whatever it was, that you could trade something and get something else, like maybe a piece of jewelry or like a wrapped crystal or something. And so I'm like, okay, I'm walking along, and I had 2/3 of a pack of these cheap ass cigarettes. I think they're called GPCs, general package cigarettes. I was like, a cheap ass. Okay, but nobody had cigarettes, and tobacco could be traded. So I'm walking up, and I'm looking around, and this guy goes, hey, yeah, come over here. I go, yeah, see you got some smokes. You want to trade? I was like, yeah, I'll trade this cheap ass pack of cigarettes for something, whatever. So he's like, he pulls out this little tiny square of paper. It was the original, something like quadruple dipped acid. And you got to be careful, because strychnine, you have peyote buttons, and peyote is based on strychnine. So just be very careful. You can have a big come down and be all depressed and weird shit. That did not happen with whatever the hell that was. I don't know if they mixed it with some mushroom solution. I have no idea, but that was the most powerful shit I had ever had, or ever in my entire life. I have never. And I don't mess around with LSD. And no, it does not permanently stay in your body. It will dissipate. Okay? That's a myth. But I think mushrooms are a far healthier choice if you're going to go that route, in my opinion. Of course, I'm not a doctor. I'm not advocating this or that. I'm just shitting myself. No, I'm talking about my experience. And for me, that became a positive experience because it changed my perspective on reality permanently. Because I literally entered into a completely different reality of awareness. Totally. I haven't even gotten into the trip yet. So I decide, okay, I'm looking at it. Yep. Take this. So I gave it to him. It wasn't too long after that, and I was like, oh yeah, I'd had it once before. I think I was 17 or something. It was not a great experience. This one was. This was wow. It was enough that it was enough for a lifetime. That's how hardcore it was. So now I've dropped acid, right? I'd gone back to camp, and they used to walk around if they're looking for LSD or something, and say something like Shiva Megadose me or some shit. I don't know, but you would hear the hippies say that shit, and so people would know, and they'd be like, "Oh, you want to go on a trip?" So you are literally living in a community of trippers. And I was just thinking about that in folk soul terms. If you're living in the woodland or the forest, you're like, where the wise ones are out there tripping their balls, playing music. They're walking out, hey, what are you guys doing? I'm like, yeah, what's up? But you're not on their level. You know what I'm saying? Hey, how are you doing? It'd be like the two nerdy missionary guys walking up going, yes, can I sit down, brothers, and play some music with you? We're like, hell no, you're going to get us in trouble. Get the hell out of here. Robin he ain't interested, That's how I look at it. Like, I'm Robin Hood, and they're walking up to my camp. Are you interested in the Lord? No. You know who I am? Oh, yeah, I'm just going to keep going off of my rant. Why not? Okay. But before that, I need the mandola. I'll get distracted. Help me stay focused. I have a good memory. Maybe that's why I got distracted so easily. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't forget that in 2 seconds? Well, it depends on what it is. If my brain has preferential memory, if filed under not interested, need not apply remembering. But usually, if it had a high charge, you'll remember emotionally. So that's why I do this, because I'm more likely to remember. If it's boring as cardboard, I will not remember. Okay. So I'd gone back to camp and told my my friend who I was camping with in our, we had a little camp spot and our fire pit and cooking area and all that shit. So I'm like, hey, bro, I got some ass. I'm tripping, Holmes. He goes, what? Because he was tripping too. And I'm like, yeah, but he wasn't tripping as much as I don't know what the hell that guy gave me. But wow. So I decide I'm going to wander off and explore, because that's what you do when you start tripping your balls off and start looking at shit, because your perspective on reality is now changed, and shit that would normally not be interesting is goddamn as interesting as the most interesting shit you've ever seen. And you're just staring at it like, wow. You keep saying that, wow. You'll keep saying that, right? And so you got the trees around the side, and then a big open kind of valley part, where it's just kind of open area, big clearing. So I'd walked there and all the way through the clearing, like, and it's a couple like miles from camp. Well, maybe not that far, maybe a mile from camp. And I get to a point where I am so tripping, I have lost where the hell I am. But I am looking up at the clouds, and the clouds are fractaling like a moving kaleidoscope. And I'm just like, oh my God, wow. And that's all I could say. I just looked, and I kept seeing geometrical shapes everywhere, because that's what it is. See reality for what it is, right? And I'm in the field, and I'm like, okay, where do I go? I don't know. And I just stood there in the field for a moment, and I was going with my intuition and feeling. And I'll just say, what appeared to me was like an ancient grandmother. And I don't know how to explain that. I've never seen her again. Saw her once. She was very earthy, no makeup, none. Nope. She had a patterned dress. I'm not going to go into too much detail. She was definitely shorter than me, but, kind of, medium build for a woman, not scrawny or anything, normal size. And I looked at her. She didn't say a word. It was a feeling and a picture. All she did was point the direction, a direct line to the camp spot. Because remember, I didn't know where I was at this point. I looked at her. I said, thank you. I looked the direction of my camp to my left and followed where she had pointed with my eyes. And I knew where to go. So I looked back. I remember, big open field. She had vanished. That's no joke. That happened. See, so I've had a lot of experiences like that I generally have never talked about. Because I know as soon as I say that, I'll either be labeled as a nutbag or targeted. Guess what? I don't give a shit anymore. What's the point? The more you stay hidden like that, the more likely something can be used against you, because people don't know you're being targeted. It's like a kid that's being abused, but they don't tell anybody else they're being abused. So no one knows. And so the bullies figure that out, that they can corner them and get away with it. Well, the molester dude that went after my sister didn't get away with that. They target you for your insecurities. But I'm so grateful I walked down the hall and listened to my intuition, or that could have ruined my sister's life. And after seeing what happened to Destiny Norton, I'm not playing. She deserved a better life than what happened. And that's why I honor her memory. And for all these innocent people that had shit like that happen to them, including the witches that were burned and the druids that were slaughtered, our wise people in general, vulvas, whoever, because I'm sure it wasn't limited, because they're going to go after whoever the most wise and powerful person is. Duh, of course. Because then they cannot warn anyone. So I think the power is this. The flame of true love will not destroy love, but it will annihilate anything that is not true love. What did I just say? Heart's flame. So what am I really saying? That is your shield. What has my purpose been about spiritual self-defense? So you see it all laid out. Now, I have two options, or three. Sit back, do nothing, use it to my advantage. Be neutral. Or wait, be patient, and try to help if I can. But if there's nothing I can help, and that person is so corrupt, it is done. And I walk away permanently. And there is no in between. Because you accept corruption like that, it sneaks in and builds. And I don't want them setting up shop in my heart. Like some imaginary little bug that likes to sit on your heart root and disrupt it. Right? Or attached to your sexual energies because you are insecure and desire attention. And where your intention goes, your energy goes. But I could have intention and hold it where I am without projecting it out to others, right? So I might, let's say, you may like someone or be attracted to them. That doesn't mean you should be targeting them with sex magic, which is what people do to attach to your energy field and then control you and corrupt your field, which directs your thoughts and the power of your folk soul potency. And sexuality is one of the easiest things to target. And it's also so sacred, right? Think about it. Fertility goddess, sovereignty goddess, fertility of the land. And so if you are allowing people to discuss you in terms of as a porn star, then what are you allowing them to do and how are you allowing them to treat you? To me, that is a direct allowance of a disrespect to the goddess herself. Did you hear what I said? That ain't no joke. That means you don't receive any more wisdom from her doing that. You're done. And something else is talking to you because it's not her. Catch it? Because you think you know everything. And that's a lack of humility. But still, you got to hold your ground and know who you are, because if you are getting communicated with by deceivers, then they are misleading the energy. If you are a powerful person, then they are using you to mislead others. So why did I get pissed at those missionaries? Because they are trying to mislead me on my path. Get out of my way. That's what I told them. Do not approach me. Do not speak to me. I am not interested. But I have to deal with that in Utah because I'm like, isn't it enough that your goddamn organization is here without littering the streets with all your fucking little bitch asses walking around? I'm 1921. I keep talking shit on this, and I will. I know everything. I'm like, listen, homie. The Druids studied as long as you've been alive before they would ever even open their mouth. And even then, you got to approach them for wisdom because it's known in the woodland, in folk culture, that is the true value, not the mountain of gold. That is what got our people killed. You hear me? Betrayal for that, instead of honoring that and the sovereignty of the land. It was an overwrite. It's called greedy, dark wizards taking over and betraying the good ones. They don't want the wise people awake because they will awaken others. That is why even what I am doing feels very dangerous in many regards, because I know so much about the occult. And I know how they target people using numbers encoded in language. But you go too far. But it gets to a point where I couldn't keep my mouth closed about it anymore. And that puts me in danger. But no matter what, anything you say or do could be dangerous, right? Walking out into the woodland could be dangerous. But I'm not stating anything that's not common knowledge on the web now. But when I was raised, that did not exist. And so the transfer of knowledge was much slower. And I had to earn my way. Go to used bookstores, whatever, where people that had nice raisings and lives and both parents and extended family and all this goddamn help do not fucking understand shit when it is stripped away and there is nothing left. Maybe your single mom. Now add on she has emotional issues while trying to raise 4 children and get a degree at the same time. And then tell me. So, okay, because of disruption in my life, I said, fuck it, and never went to college. I wanted to go to college for music and art in English. So, and I hear people say, well, I dropped out of college at my master's level. Yeah, you got the opportunity to get to that fucking level. Not everybody does. You have already achieved something beyond what the average person is doing. But even if you are a triple PhD, it's still a piece of paper from an organization. What does that mean? No cursing this time. Before your grandmother and grandfather. What are you valuing, the piece of paper or the basic wisdom they taught you? And if you forgot that, then you are lost. And you need to go reclaim virtue. Because people are using your folk soul for a goddamn doormat to wipe their cleats on. Did you hear me? And that is unacceptable to me. So that is why we must present ourselves in the best face of folk stories and folk culture in general. Otherwise, you are pop culture. You are repeating the same left-right bullshit conversation over and over and over and over and over again. However, you can build on the basics and repeat some basics, and that's good for learning. But what happens when you become stagnant emotionally, mentally, spiritually? It shuts down motivation. So what do you need to do to awaken that? Maybe using different parts of your brain, visual, spoken word versus just sitting and reading. How many different aspects of a learning style can you approach from? Because not everybody responds to left brain analytical, right? You got to have a balanced perspective. But, and then comprehending the differences in function. Some men who have developed more of their emotional intelligence will be easier for a woman to deal with. But on the same degree, you could have a woman who is emotionally undeveloped. But the fascinating part for me, after learning the nerve structure differences in the brain, is that I keep hammering on this, and I'm going to, because this is a main arguing point for me between this. There's no difference, blah blah blah. No, there is a physical, biological, provable difference. Philosophical debate, that's another situation. But base to root, biologically, you are what you are. But you could have a masculine or male body and have developed a female brain. But if you notice, even in any relationship, let's just say a gay guy, for instance, respectfully, that one is more masculine and one is more feminine. And that's why they have that link. Makes sense? But there's something in the brain that says I'm attracted differently than somebody else is. So I'm saying I would not attack them for doing that, but I myself am not going to do that. And neither am I going to teach my children to be that. Okay. But if for some odd reason, some shit happened and that's the way they became, I'm still going to love them because they're my child. Got it? But I would prefer to reproduce someone more like myself, which is traditional straight male. Did I say hateful? No. I got raised with that traditional family concept from my father, especially. But I just always wondered, I'm like, why am I just so different from these Utah kids? It became depressing after a while because I just didn't click with them at all. But there was definite discrimination. Like if you weren't rich and Mormon, you could forget it. It didn't matter if you were poor and you were a Mormon, they didn't give a shit. You had to be in their upper tier elite class. I trip out on that, but I can tell, like people that grew up spoiled or having everything handed to them, it's obvious to me because they have poor discernment. They're used to things being easy, so they don't value other people. They value money and influence and associating with the popular crowd. It's like they never grew out of the high school mentality. And since they know most people are low consciousness, especially with emotional shit, they're going to target that. That's why they go to the base root. But if you know what base root is, they can't trigger that. And the primal will always be the most powerful. Did you hear me? Because I don't feel heard sometimes. Man, even if they hear, do they internalize, realize, and then transform themselves? If not, then it don't mean shit. I hear you, so what? If they're doing a behavior that is abusive and harming you, they need to halt the behavior. not punch you and then say, I hear you. I don't like that. I hear you. Well, so what? Stop doing your shit. That's why grandpa's response would be to throw something at you or something for being abusive to, you know, your younger brother or whatever it was. Or get your attention, yell at you, knock it off, look over at you, whatever. But I remember my mom telling me about one of my great grandmothers, and I don't know, something happened. She said they would make you cut your own switch off of a tree. You know what a switch is? And then they would make you stand with your back to them, and they'll walk up behind you and go whoosh, and it was like a whip, whack across your legs, and you would have to sit there and take it. And that's what my mom saw growing up. So you would be very, very careful about pissing off grandmother for that reason. But I don't agree with that treatment either, but that could be life. Like if I don't pay attention with my instruments and I snap a string and it's really high tension, it could whip, hit my hand, like I said before. So realizing pressure and repercussions for choices, even how you treat people. If you don't value people and let them know that you value them, they will disappear. And I'm no different. So it's like, I guess I would still seek people out to play, whatever, but maybe stop playing online and just not go live anymore. But I will for now. As long as I have a community to come to, then I will. But I'm not going to do it for a bunch of trolls and people ripping me off and not giving a shit, because I've had my writing stolen in the past. And it stung. And I'm not talking somebody just copied my writing. No, they took my original handwritten shit and kept it. Yeah. Whole collection I had from when I was a teenager. I was going through a lot of depression. And I set it down, like went in to get a drink or something in 7-Eleven. And come back out and they're like, oh, hey, where'd my stuff go? Oh, I don't know. See, so they would take that and keep it as a trophy or sell it. That's why oral and spoken tradition are important. And that is why there are no commercials on anything I do. Because there has to be something sacred that I have. I would rather not have commercials on my shit and maybe find different items I could sell, right? That represented folk culture. Like I have the ability to laser print on wood. But nobody hits me up to ask me about shit. Notice that? I left my email. Not one person contacted me. So I just said, whatever. Guess no one's interested. That's why. Right? So I'm like, okay, well, whatever. They're too high on themselves to notice. That's how I feel. I'm literally that affected by the lack of awareness of most people. And that is the problem with having your focus so widespread. Like, okay, you have 1 million subscribers, like Jonah Jinton or somebody like that. Okay, that's cool. But there's only a small core group of people that she even knows on a personal level. How are you going to talk to 1 million people individually? You're not. If you lived in a folk community, now you might go to a big festival, right, and present yourself. That's be more equivalent at a big gathering. But on average, your closest connection is your closest inner circle. And so levels and tiers in the circle. And then you go, oh, well, bigger and bigger circle, right? Oh, I can do this. I can do that. I got this connection. I got that connection. Mm-hmm. And now the wise ones in the woods are being forgotten. Who's that? That's me. Huh? That isn't a point of arrogance. That's reality. I have lived that reality. I chose that reality many years ago and decided what made me happy at a young age. And I said, well, if nobody else values it, I will. And I sought it out myself. That's why I know. Doesn't mean I'm some big scholar or whatever. Whatever titles mean, they don't mean much to me. Heart and intention, that's the center. Because if you don't love somebody, you will let them die. And it ain't no joke. And all the fancy shit goes out the goddamn door. And that's what happens. And that's what happened to me when I found my dad's dead body. It ain't no joke. And when I saved his life the first time, this means a great deal to me. That's why it was so offensive to me to be thought of in a concept of goddamn fucking entertainment. It makes me angry. I am not entertainment. Anyway, bring good vibes. But aside from that, I had lots of good conversations with my father, and I'm glad. I took the time to know my father. Not everybody in my family did. It's more of a superficial, hi, Dad, love you, but they don't know him. So because you didn't take time to know somebody, you misjudged them. Whose issue is that? It's not theirs. It's yours for being shallow. What did I say? Shallow pond versus deep ocean. So as a deep ocean, I just left. Rather than swim in a shallow pond and be depressed because there's nowhere to run or swim. Lot difference playing music from heart and soul, and that's the only reason, versus it's a business. So as soon as the artist is done with the money, he's gone, right? So where was the soul? I'll be waiting on the wind. Mr. Fearful just said the pandemic is here. No, it ain't. That's propaganda on the wind. Try to scare you down. Hey. I think they tried to poison the world. I think that's where the Black Plague really came from. Oh, bringing the rats in. They know where to go. Yeah. What country they come from? Maybe the trading company. Oh, I'm calling down to the heart of the earth. Oh, calling down to the heart of the earth. earth and soul. Heart's flame does burn. Oh. And that's how I've become after the loss and suffering I've had in my life that I've seen. And the fake veneer of, I'm a Christian, so I'm automatically a good person. Yeah, right. But because I identify as a witch and a druid, or wise one of the wood, I all of a sudden don't have a valid viewpoint, even though I'm coming from a place of love, virtue, and character. Huh. Or as they say, acting like a Roman. Well, it all goes back to a tribal seed root down. Root down, fly high, wild woman run the circle round, no. A wild woman runs and she's in control. Deep down from a folk's soul. Oh. Human circle around fire. If you can see your heart and soul, one day I might just fade away. As I reach deep down, I gotta reach deep down to never fade, never fade, never fade away. Deep down in a folk soul, singing from the depths of self. You can keep the money and I'll keep the trees. So, heart of the witch is a folk soul. There's a stone to root down. No, I don't plan this, I just feel what I feel. This world on fire. I can smell weasel from a distance, but only if I'm a true-hearted man to stay and stand. In a circle round, holding on out to the core for true love. Deep down in a folk soul, we don't know. I don't want to package up my emotions and sell myself down the river for you. I don't want to be your emotional prostitute. That's what they say. 'Cause my feelings are not for sale. Folks, cause I love 100% all the way. We're going. Oh, deep down, deep diving. Well, you know your body's cold in the ground, but your folks' soul is forever. Oh, everybody knows in the other realms that folks' soul is forever. Folks are forevermore. We got a fire in my heart, head and soul. Protection of innocence, shining for the folks on mountain. Reaching deep down, hey, reaching deep down, hey, yeah. I know what you did in that place that nobody was looking. I'm coming on through the door, blazing hot flame, and I said, you know, is your heart is the flame, your heart is the flame. Well, I hope you come on back my way. Which other wood? Wise one in the wood. Oh, I don't really care what they said anymore. I'm just gonna radiate, resonate, folks' soul. Eventually, when singing, more than likely you'll have to cough. You know, I think honey mixed with tea would be good. It helps relax your throat, you know, open it a little bit. In the winter time, that became kind of an issue a little bit because it makes the tension grow in your body. So always hard at times. So I would be playing with numb and frozen fingertips. Yes, to that level. I know. But well, with that said, like grinding to the point of discipline is important, but not to the point of destroying your tool. So I haven't done that, but you see my fingers sometimes from playing, they will sting. See that? Look at that. Wow. Especially those two. Look at the pit. Now my fingertips do not look, they're flat. See that? You look at your fingertips, they'll be rounded if you don't play like me. Versus an electric player, they don't have to work as hard as we do as acoustic players. And I literally taught myself how to play mandola, so it's like it's not that complicated, but the unison tuning is probably the most tricky part. And not ever using a digital tuner, which I don't do. Just by ear and intuition. And some base technical knowledge and knowing how to tune, but eventually something won't be perfect. So, or whatever perfection is, it won't be the 440 standard of whatever that bullshit is. Because the natural harmony of the planet is not 440 hertz. That sped everybody up and confused the cymatic pattern. That was originally a sun pattern. You look at 432 or whatever, which is a near 8 hertz difference from 440. And then the natural mathematics of the earth as far as resonance. That's what got disrupted from a folk culture being disrupted because it was keeping nature in balance. That's my opinion, of course. Or I'm sure it had some effect. It's like having a proper sovereign on a land means that there is honor. And that means the power of the entire tribe is there versus one selfish individual that's feeding. They pretend to be tribal, but they are not. Like I said, either you're for your tribe or you're for a business, right? One has to be priority over the other. If money is that priority, then just find something else to pimp and sell versus valuing and promoting your culture. And you could still benefit off that, but that's different. The thing is, you were passionate about it and you would never sell it out. That's the whole point. And you know that on an individual basis. But, you know, people that are like that truly, with true intention, will feel each other eventually. But they must get in tune with their folk soul. And I live that every day. So, it is what it is. It's my choice. Robin, I am Robin in the woodland, I am BobCat on the mountain. There's a piece of my soul forever. Oh, you wanna wanna be driving family or just a business on the side? You wanna be driving family? Right, switch instrument. Oh, put this little baby over here. So these extra chairs are nice for us. They make good guitar holders. I think I got out of control yesterday. I had like 5 instruments out here at the same time. Let's see. But like I said, this is not the most expensive guitar, but it was special to me because it was my first classical. Wow. See how it turned out. Boom. Ooh. This is a little brighter than the other one. Oh. See? But it might not be perfect. And if it's not perfect, whatever that means. See what I'm saying? It told me I gotta be according to their standard. Not acceptable. Well, I guess I just go back to the woodland, live there. Hey, maybe a wise woman come get me. Take me to the wise woman's cottage in the woodland. Hey, didn't you want a supermodel? Nah, no thanks. I take a folk soul, I take a wise one in the wood, I take the witch of the woodland. At least she knows herself, she knows the way. Hard song to stand, hard song to stay. Well, she threw her high heels in the fire. She couldn't run in those anyway. She slipped on, put on the elf boots. She was a ranger in the woodland. I think they call her Queen of Elfin. Queen of Elfin. Witch of the wood. Oh. Reaching deep down, floating above the ground, oh, was a blazing fire. The ember in her true heart, and deep down, heart's flame. You know, sometimes you work on something your whole life and you get your heart and soul deep down in it. But a thief don't care. You just take it and sell it down the river, hey. 'Cause they didn't earn it on their way. They didn't earn it on their way. You took it and sold it down the river, say, hey, hey. Free folk on the rise, oh, way deep down, oh. Oh, yeah. All right. Take a short break. Set this down for a second. And, you know, I decided after getting out of there, of the Utah State Hospital, it changed perspective in a way where I can no longer view reality in the same way I once did. And I had known someone, well, he was a lot worse than I ever was. One time that ever happened, I've never even been in jail. Not even jail. You know, like tickets, stupid shit, like whatever. Nothing major. But I saw the effects of abuse and isolation and what people do. This particular person was a high functioning autistic. And the neglect in his family led him to the point of just, you know, either he's attacking or he is not talking. But he's always calculating that everyone's intention is to attack him because he grew up with no love and no patience for teaching. Right? Mom's on drugs and has a violent attitude to get what she wants. And then she's dealing with having an autistic son on top of having poor communication skills. It's not going to turn out well. It got like to the point of neglect where I think at 2 years old, he ended up with his head in the mouth of a pit bull and it had essentially crushed his skull. So now he had brain damage. And it's just how much coupled trauma can we add? I've heard, you know, like whatever, certain people talk about that, authors, and how emotional trauma affects people, but it also affects the larger group. I would feel even on a soul level that like the closer the ties you have, the more effect you feel. Like a particular person died, but were they related to you or not? But if you didn't have a personal connection there, it probably wouldn't affect you, right? as you accept the reality of the world that not everybody lives forever. But I feel like it will get to that point where you have Ubers over all society that are like, the time machine, where they have fed so much to feed their brain and psychic ability. They've just become a predator. That is it. They are still base instinct predatorial. So they never advance beyond being a predator into interconnection, interdependence being the highest level and form of communication and relationship. Next stage down, independent. Next stage down, codependent, right? So are you codependent or interdependent? I am interdependent. And that is the basis of what I'm doing live and why I make these videos. Is for that reason, to build interdependence and independence, which brings what? Liberation from negative thought patterns. Saying I'm a worthless piece of shit, right? Instead of repeating that you are not good enough to yourself, start looking at what the challenge is and face it. And go, okay, what do I need to do? Might be really hard. You might have to sit there and think about it for a while. And then I just started letting things surface of like mentioning personal shit about myself. It's because this isn't about money. It's about helping people that are suffering emotionally, right? And then say, hey, there's a better way. And then what does that do? That reinforces it in me to change my thoughts and feelings, to resonate positive energy. But at times I felt like constantly, it's not good enough, right? Or the instrument's not tuned well enough. There's all different reasons. Your voice isn't good enough. You're missing teeth. You're old. Whatever it is. And before you know it, you buried yourself into a hole of not being of value. Right? And then that insecurity can be played on versus going, look, this is who I am. And either you like me or you don't. And that's it. And who gives a shit? If they don't like you, then they don't. And that's why I'm still here. Because if I would have let all that negativity stop me, you would have never even heard of me. You hear? And I started to feel that way. I was like, maybe I never even should have made a video or popped up anywhere. I would have just stuck to myself. Just to watch videos, don't comment, and don't participate. Because you can end up with crazy people that freak out on you, don't trust anybody, and blame you for their fucking insecurities. And that is what happened. So it's like, if I notice I myself am exhibiting that type of pattern, then I need to change it. And if I'm not pattern recognizing within myself, I will repeat the pattern. And so a trigger could be used as an accelerator or total destruction, right? I'm triggered by the fact my friend's daughter was killed. But what can I do about that? Well, heart's flame is my answer. Remembering what is good, what is innocence, getting down to base principle. Because everything else is secondary. As soon as that person is in danger. How much money is kind of irrelevant. Do you love that person or not? Are they your friend? Are they really your friend? What does that mean? Consider it. Identify what real relationships are. Instead of artificial, then you get some kind of little emotional boost out of it because somebody gave you some praise. But you're not sensing true intention. Therefore, you go with the slick talk because you are insecure and you need attention. Codependent, independent, or interdependent. I am choosing the highest level of function I can. Right? But because of emotional trauma, I got labeled with learning disabilities at an early age. And it's not that I was disabled, it was that I was hypersensitive, and that was not identified, and therefore spun out of control. So you become traumatized, and then you're hypersensitive, and that's where the triggers come in. So how do you redirect an emotional trigger? Well, by accelerating or by calming. You're like, maybe an example of that is you're frustrated and pissed off, and God damn it, this mess has been here long enough, and I'm gonna do something. So at first you kind of get pissed to get yourself to do it. But what is your initial motivator? So if anger becomes the initial motivator, then it's F, 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 and all your high vocabulary is out the window. So I identified when I would get angry, I would start doing that, dropping F-bombs and cursing. But as my father taught me, would he want me to be doing that if there's, say, ladies coming to listen to me? No, because it's not considered to be gentlemanly. Now, if you take up the etymology of the word fuck, what does that really mean? That means to have sex without love. Well, to me it does. It's just the act versus emotion being involved with it. Catch what I'm saying? Base emotion. I'm wondering, should I look up the definition and see what the deal is here? Maybe I'll look up true love and see what pops up. It's true love versus the F ain't shit unless it's folk. FOLK. However you want to spell it. Okay. No. Okay. I'll do the first one. Definition. F-bomb. Let's see what it says. I don't know. It's gonna. Oh my God. Oh, here we go. Holy shit. Oh my God. It's there. It says fuck, verb, or is it like it up? Okay, whatever. Let's see what it says. Have sex, intercourse with someone. Okay, next one. Hold on. Synonyms: have sexual intercourse with, make love to, sleep with together. Okay. Now, so far I haven't seen love mentioned in any of these descriptions, which is the point I'm making. Number 2, ruin or damage something. Oh, holy shit. Ruin or damage something. Damage what? Love, family, honoring being a parent. Maybe that's what got damaged. 1, noun, an act of sexual intercourse, but people don't think about what they say before they say it, and that is the point that I'm making, reflecting it back on myself, saying, what are you doing, Robert? Exclamation. 1, used alone or as a noun verb in various phrases to express annoyance, contempt, or impatience. You have now overlaid that on the sacred fertility rite. What are you doing? Wow. Did you get my point? This is why I'm putting myself in check. And I will do my best to make an attempt to not use that language. Look at the definition. What's the energy you are sending? I don't honor true love. That's what you're sending. I am annoyed. I am angry. Okay, that's great. But what's your central note? Oh, wait, that's a great annoyance, isn't it? That's not love. So, Again, is that based out of love or fear? Because pain and anger is generally rooted into some kind of a fear, right? If you're love, you'll have the courage to overcome the fear. Okay, for instance, not getting and not ever having intimacy or developing yourself, you now go around fucking but not making love. Do you see the difference? So now men and women turn each other into objects to acquire. And pleasure is put over the full cart that says family is the center. And if this has not rocked your world and been very profound, I don't know what is. It seems so simple. But think about how casually people use words and expression without realizing they are putting energy into that, which is an intention that is allowing maybe not so positive entities in the astral realm to attach themselves to your sexual organs. What did I just say? I ain't playing. That's their little sex magic shit. I don't play that game. Why am I stating that? Let's see. Invasion of dreams. Concentration on specific organs in your body. In a woman, her ovaries or whatever is a stimulant. In a man, his testicles. Why? That's where his seed is. They are targeting your seed, your base root. That's why true love matters. And being lost in F-bombing is what allows them to get into your energy field because it is dirty. Your intention is not clean. Therefore, be like essentially standing in your grandparents' living room and masturbating on the carpet. I don't think they would like that. On a spiritual level. And then you're like, you are accepting and receiving attention from men or women who act that way. What are you saying in front of your grandparents? By your own intention, you're saying you do not honor their intention, nor their ways, nor folk culture in any way, shape, or form. That's how I feel. So it's not like to be a prude. I'm not a prude. That's not the point. Sexuality should be honored between two people because, for one, the man should realize that is her life in the balance. And if she, for any reason, gets pregnant, she could potentially lose her life in the process. And so from the beginning, to honor what is created and not F her, that is saying you don't care if she fucking dies. So to me, fuck is death. That is not life. True heart, true love is the center, and that is life. Anything else is a lie. That's how I feel. So, base principle, true love, even if you went a whole lifetime, but you still held that in your heart, in the next world, you would have a higher potential of finding a match. Versus being a greasy piece of shit that spent their life going around manipulating and sleeping around with whoever the hell they wanted to get what they wanted. They don't have love that way, do they? So the key is to get you into F mode so they can feed on your energy field. Because if you're centered in true love mode, they can't get to that, can they? Because you won't give it away. But they may still come back and challenge that continuously until you build up a big enough shield of I am true love and I accept nothing else, that they cannot touch you anymore. And because of what I have seen and what I know, and when those children are being treated that way, they have to disappear somewhere else. And sometimes they don't come back out emotionally, mentally speaking, because they had been damaged, and that affect their brain development. They're living in an isolated tower. Huh? That's why I can't function like other people do. I just emotionally am so aware that it makes it a big challenge to be around people that are very dull with their emotional IQ, because mine is I consider extremely high. And that's not a point of arrogance. It's made my life hard, being sensitive and aware. But it has also been a great tool and learning the ability to self-analyze, where I internalized it to the point where it is just automatic. And so I have a system set up to reject negative philosophy, right? But I have to have, I'm going to get off soon, but the center of true love, right? Of friends, of family, and especially of any future woman I would be with. So once you get to a certain age, you're either, well, I'm too old, no women will be interested, and all the different reasons, no money, this, that, whatever. So you address what you can, but there's only so much you can fix. And if they don't value true love, then that will never bridge the gap, right? And then if she accepts a man because of wealth, but there's no true love, then she's going to end up lonely and empty, because there's nothing to meet her to multiply true love in her heart, which is an energy. That is a soul light. And that's what they want to take, is your emotional light. And by fucking, you are not loving, but you're giving away all your life force energy that is supposed to be used for the fertility and sovereignty of the land and the goddess. What I just say? I'm making a very strong point for a reason. I want to check that in myself first and foremost. How am I acting? What language am I using? How am I speaking? Intention, 100% all the time, rather than thinking in lies and deceptions. Guarding is different than like purposefully withholding information. I'll give you an example. Your friend drops their wallet on the ground, but they didn't realize they dropped their entire paycheck. One friend says, "Hey bro, you dropped your wallet." The other one is looking around to see if you're paying attention, grabs your wallet, and then still pats you on the back. Which one do you want? The guy who took your wallet, that's the guy that wants to fuck you. The one who said, hey sister, you dropped your purse. You pick it up, it's over here. You ignore him, but you go for slick talk that took your shit. Who's the dumb shit? Right? It seems harsh to say it like that. I don't want to get over on labeling and negative, like lecture shit. But I'm just using examples. And so if you're coming from a true-hearted perspective, you're going to look at that as a very foolish individual. And if you see a woman acting that way, you are going to think that she has no wisdom and that you are not interested, if you're wise. But if you're unwise, you're just going to see her as a target for sex. And then it's just to get the F, right? You get your rocks off. They use the person. They got their fucking trophy. They used it in that context. So my annoyance is the fact that, since that's another explanation, is that true love is being ignored. And that is why you've been misled. Is that blunt enough for you? So, what is the solution? Being true-hearted and true love, and only accepting the truth that is self-existent. Anything else is an illusion. And that's how I feel. The closest thing to that I really feel, is it is a family structure. And true love matters in a family, right? I mean that in the RITE fashion. Say, teaching with love, rites of passage, and helping someone get better versus dangling knowledge and wisdom over their head and then saying, well, if you F me, then I'll teach you more. Nope. That loses all potency and value at that point. It'd be like a real CRS that keeps her tribe alive versus the one that pretends, F's everybody and gets paid. See the difference? It's not that the good one doesn't survive and they don't give her gifts and whatever, but her main principle, with or without money, gifts, whatever, is to uplift the tribe. So even in the most difficult, hard circumstances, she will still be there for her tribe, even if she has nothing and she is on the street. Did you hear what I said? So if you are not homeless and you're sitting on a nice, comfortable pillow and a comfortable place to live, you are not poor and you are not struggling. You are privileged. And so in a place of privilege, how should you be acting to those who do not have as much as you do? Mock them, make fun of them, put them down because you had the luxury of having people to help you? If you are not looking back to help those that were left behind, you're not a leader. You hear me? You're out for yourself. That's not tribe, nor is it folk soul. It's greed. And so true love is my answer. And it's what I got. And it makes me tear up because I think, if that ain't good enough for you, then you can just go away permanently. Is that an answer? I think it is. And that's what I decided. So I'm like, as long as I have true-hearted people coming, I will be here. The moment that ends, I'm gone. And I might not ever come back. And that is the truth. And I almost did that physically. Not take myself out, just destroy my artwork, burn everything I had ever written, any guitar I've ever owned, and never be seen again. That was my level of depression. And I overcame it due to all the abuse that I had seen. I grew up having to hear my mom recall abuse happening to her. It was very traumatizing. My sisters had to hear that. Couple it with physical abuse. My grandfather died at 34, 10 years younger than I am now, due to a heart issue. He was a good man, and I kind of look like him. Very good-hearted guy, but he got sick, and they did not have the medicine at that time, and it killed him. It's kind of interesting, too, because my mom ended up with a pacemaker, right? What is the damage from the trauma? And when a fuck. Yeah, I'd like to have the fucking abused person survive. Your little fuck stain that you want to offer to everybody. Because it ain't shit to me. That ain't loving a kid. That's letting him die. I'd say that's pretty serious as a perspective. And so I see how emotions physically impact your health. Yes. Because it affects the form in your body geometrically. Just like cymatics, intention, energy, changing the form inside of water. Water reacting to your electromagnetic impulse and soul. Light. And so once everything becomes energy, you realize, whoa. So if they could somehow tap in and transform something, that's your alchemy. So what are they doing when they are fucking? They are doing sexual alchemy. They are absorbing the life force from your sexual organs. It's a big deal. That's why I keep bringing it up. It's one of the easiest ways for them to target you from a distance. Why am I raising awareness? Because I consider that a form of rape on a spiritual level. Because it's them using a group or themselves to project their will and intention of wanting pleasure on you. What if you're a sick person? What if your body hurts or you're tired? That's when they target you, when you're tired. Or sleeping. This is my experience. You think this is easy for me to talk about? No. I can be labeled a nutbag real easy. Like I said, because of hypersensitivity, it's made it hard. It is not far-fetched. Your heart emits an electromagnetic field. And for a guy, so does his testicles. That's your central survival system. That's why women should be mindful of that. You guys have the ability to stimulate that, and doing that unmindfully is a cruel act. Not just that, like if it's a good guy, but she's learned to target his sexual energy to control him. And it works. But then they feed on that. Like I said, major nerve center, solar plexus. This is self-defense. Spiritual self-defense. That is the first thing you should learn before you ever go play with energy outside your body, floating around, playing around with, I'm going to astral project. Yeah, and there's things watching you that are not friendly. So by being in tune with your true heart and folk soul, what am I really saying? That's your spiritual shield. So if you're wasting your base element life force, your fertility, whether you are a man or a woman, you have ripped a hole into your aura. So how do you seal it off? Discipline, not fear, not self-loathing. At first, you might get angry at yourself and be, you fucking idiot, what are you doing? But that happens. Got to get out of that. Then think of it and start defining, okay, what am I really trying to say instead of F, F, F? To me, it shows a lack of patience and intelligence if that's every other word. Every once in a while, okay, it happens, but making excuses for the behavior allows it to continue to be unconsciously using words that are stimulating that in other people, manifesting intention. Hello, wakey, wakey. So that before you speak, there is an internalized process before you even go on camera. But if you've done it enough, you start to get in tune to speaking a certain way. You go, okay, wait, what's the emotional intention? Oh, not a big complex thought? Huh. Is this love or fear? Because sex without love is fucking. I'm making a big deal about this, huh? Yeah. So if okay, let's say the base element is that the mother is sacred, the goddess. But I'm using terms as, quote, in quote, for the sake of purpose, motherfucker. Is that honorable? No. That is a defilement of the mother, the one who protects the innocent life. Huh. Why is that a foul statement? Are you getting what I'm saying? What is your intentional awareness, emotionally speaking? Right. I pass the baton to you, wise ones in the woodland. And especially those wise to the oak, if you know what I mean. Aye, Captain, aye. Now, the High Kitty Commander, she knows what love is. And she will regulate. Did you see my head move? I held back some head movement. But High Kitty Commander has the extra shit. She'd be like, But if you say, submissive Sally, I don't know. I'm kind of insecure. I can't do it. Or you're over the top, then they go, oh, she's angry. I can spin her out of control. Or he, for that matter. Yeah. That's where being centered matters. That's why I stayed. Or I would have left. What? I just wanted you to know I planned this 2 years ago. Stay wise to the oak, saw you going down, but I stuck around, even though I got slammed back down to the ground due to fear and ignorance. Because I have a true heart, and I love. And I will take the time to have the discernment to earn true love. Did you hear what I said? I must earn it. And no pile of gold can earn that, baby. You either are that or you're not. So I'd rather have a true-hearted woman was a goddamn homeless person than some rich goddamn fucking supermodel. You say F word in that's God, that's, or let's say me saying the Lord damns that, and I'm the Lord myself. Say God damn that. And that I mean, because it is damned, it's condemned. That's what that word means. If you are condemning true love, central core, folk culture. Like I like the story Peter and the Wolf, and his grandfather's telling him. I even like the music. There's a certain person I think that would enjoy reading that story or stuff like that. But if you notice, I kind of gravitate to the whole moral of this. Not, I don't know, moral of the story. I don't really like that word, but the ethical, where the folk soul teaching of the story. There we go. That's a better way to say it for me. But it was because I grew up having books read to me by my mom. And that's, I was introduced to the folk culture and stories. My grandmother would read to me, but she was amazing as far as memory goes and mental capability. She lived into her 90s, but she had to develop her mind on a level most people never have to, not in modern culture. Because her brain was so efficient, it got to the point where she could fall asleep. And this is a special story. I love my grandmother. That's why it ain't for sale. Love my granny. So my grandmother, Dylan, originally O. Dylan, it's Irish last name. She could type a paper, fall asleep while typing, wake up in the morning and have the paper done with 0 mistakes. What did I just say? So what I am also saying is that these people in the astral realm know what the capabilities of your mind are. So they've learned to shut your system down piece by piece, just like attacking an electrical system on a building. And it ain't no joke. And the dark side people are not playing games. They want control and they want to enslave you. Isn't it bad enough that you're getting the psychological and physical? Well, there's another level, and that's the highest level, and that's on a soul level, of course, in my opinion. Now, if you're an atheist and you don't think you exist beyond this existence, whatever, then no biggie. But either I am a complete nutbag, okay, or the spirit world is 100% real due to my experiences. No. Once you have things lining up over and over again, you're like, wait a second. But the computer is not some magical spiritual device. No, it is an algorithm that copies what you study and interrelates it like a giant goddamn brain. Now, there can be energy going out over the realms, right? Technically speaking, I guess you could project your energy through a computer system, but you don't need to, because the planet itself is already emitting a gigantic electromagnetic field. And that is why people sense each other from a distance. That is why animals sense earthquakes, vibration, right? But also EMF field, that they recognize that certain frequencies mean certain things, just like the human voice and inflections on tone. But body language, what is the feeling? What is their body posture? What are they physically doing aside from what they are saying? What actions are they taking or not taking? These are just base questions that when you are distracted, you are not noticing at all. And that is what I noticed on the internet. And so I'm like, well, shit. Seems like we have some very unwise people that are just out here trying to get money, but they're not thinking before they do. Okay. Low standards. It's the excitement. Now you've become entertainment. Versus somebody with a true-hearted center. But the greatest deception are those who will pretend to be the true heart, but they are not. So how do you know? By being true. Stay true. Not for a little while, forever. And then that means you're my folk. Without that, you ain't shit. You just lip service. You will not be given any authority in the other realms, in my opinion, acting that way. None. So I don't really care, about being a billionaire here, because I feel my folk soul is forever. And who I am right now is who I will be forever. I've made that choice. I am Robin, and I am Robert, and that is who I am forever. And I will not give my folk soul away for a fuck. No, thank you. True love or nothing. Sounds really hardcore. Yes. That is what it takes to keep a predator off of you. Imagine you get a pack of hungry wolves. If you don't have a strong position ahead of time, what's the likelihood they will succeed in taking you down? Very high. True-hearted all the way. Either be true or get away from me. Shine on. True love is a life's mission and a dream. Living memory. Oh, you're not gonna target me. You can keep your fuck stain yourself. I keep a true love forevermore. Anything else is just a stain on your folk soul. On your folk soul. FOLK. You can keep your FUCK. Didn't need it anyway. Cause true love is all the way. Oh, oh, oh. True love all the way. Honest mahogany folk right here. As a seagull flies overhead. Yeah. Sure as it flies overhead. Oh. Remember what they said about the Druids studying the patterns of birds, the flights of birds? Yes, it was indicating of a weather shift and other things. People are so out of tune with what is natural that they don't value it. They want the mountain of gold, but they don't care about folk soul or true heart or love. So I say to those people, if you're unwilling to learn, I don't need you. But the ones that are true-hearted and have love and radiate that, I want them around me, 100%. Because that's how I am. And I'm a loyal person, but I will not accept false intention or the fuck mentality. You can have it. Grandmother and grandfather would be disgusted by that behavior. They would not look at it as a good thing. It'd be like trying to date Tolkien's daughter and acting that way. He would whip your ass. He would. Because he was a true-hearted person. He loved his family. There's no way he would act that way. Or a good example of when Frodo's being protected after he got stabbed by the wraiths, and she's got him and she's protecting him. That's true love. You hear? Fucking would be leaving him for dead on the side of the road after using him for sex. Oh, women can do that to men? Yes. It's always men that get the blame for that shit. Kind of makes me wonder. It's both women and men that have done it equally. I'm just saying that it's not a good thing to do, because it creates deception and feedback and disconnection. Because true love is 100% trust, because neither one has the intention of being selfish. I think this is really key and important, and would help other people be happier. So that's why I'm mentioning it. And it's how I feel. So it helps me to vent. This is frustrating. You even get frustrated with yourself, because you start wanting attention, right? Which is natural as a human. But that can be exploited. So either you let it go and wait for the proper timing, or you're constantly going to be running around looking for attention from everybody but the one person that might actually love you. Imagine that. Running from love, but speaking about it all the time. Yeah. True love, I love you all the way. Change the vibe. True love, radiate, folks soul. Feel deep down, then heart and soul, grandmother, grandfather, shining deep down, way deep down, true love, all the way. So it's true love, but get out of my heart. It's true love, go away. Rough as I am, true love, all the way. My father told me, and I keep that forevermore. Oh, radiate, light of the folk soul, heart's flame, tree flaming well, tree flaming well, yeah, oh, true-hearted all the way, true-hearted all the way. Won't you walk my way? Mean it screams so loud, but I feel like you don't hear it all. All I ever wanted, all I ever need is true love to stay. For true love to stand, stand, stand in the circle round. Oh, deep down sad, Grandfather, grandmother, I owe. No more lies will I accept you and throw. True love, true love, true love, true love. Oh, all the way. This is not entertainment. This is my folk soul singing out from a true heart. For true love's flame, tree and well, crystal cave, vision. True love in a vision. Vision is a vision, say. It's a vision, say. We're going. Won't you come on back for true-hearted love this day? Oh, it's a true heart all the way, forevermore. True-hearted all the way, easy on the way. Deep down, oh, deep dive, deep dive, deep dive, deep dive. Oh, be a true-hearted love all the way, you know. Deep down, love forevermore, and easy on the way. Hey. All I ever wanted, all I ever need is a folk soul and a true-hearted love all the way. Oh. Thank you. I shall return.